There we go. We're live. Okay, cool. Hey, it's Wednesday the 13th. Good to see you again. I'm James Jacoby, founder and CEO of Ascend Advisors. We are a B2B business development and marketing agency for professional service companies. And today we are talking about the fastest path you can take to scaling your sales and growing your monthly revenue. Listen in. I cover a lot of ground here on 5 different things you can do in your company today that will shift your focus, shift your strategy, make you work smarter, not harder. And it should help you grow your profits, add margin, raise your prices, make more sales, because you're going to have a message that really, really, really resonates with your audience. So check it out. Let's roll. If you have any questions, we love questions, so please send us those questions, and we'll answer those for you. We'd love to hear anything that you have on your mind about your own business when it comes to these topics, because they're rich. There's a lot to talk about on these when it comes to business development, your sales strategy, your sales process, your marketing efforts. It all comes together. It's not easy, but today we're going to take a crack at making this easy. We're going to take a crack at this and give you some things to think about when it comes to your overall strategy for your business and selling, getting more clients, getting more leads, growing revenue at a faster rate than you are today. That sounds like a pretty good plan, right? So that's what we're up to over here today. It's the 13th. It's time for another version of LinkedIn audio, and we're going to tackle this head on. So there's a couple things I want you to think about, and I got some stats for you again today. But if you want to accelerate your sales, if you want to get more monthly revenue in your business, what is the fastest possible way to scale what you're doing right now? And I'm going to speak from experience. I'm going to tell you a story real quick, and then I'm going to give you some stats to back it up, and then I'm going to give you the layout of the strategy. Okay, there's 4 to 5 things that we're going to hit on that you can adjust immediately to make this work for you. And this works for any B2B business, that especially for selling a service. This is going to work really, really well for you. If you're a small business owner or a small business, you can make these changes immediately. If you're in a bigger business and maybe you're an account executive or lead a sales team, a little bit more nuanced, but you can take what I'm going to say here in a second and compare it against your current strategy, and you're going to probably find some nuggets of wisdom that you'll like, is my bet. So I'm a betting man. I've been doing this for 20 years. I think I know a thing or two about go-to-market sales, so that's why I'm here. All right. So first things first, we're going to take you on a quick trip on memory lane back to when I was an account executive in a healthcare staffing company, and I was selling my butt off. I was making cold calls every day. I was going door to door. I was going to networking events. I was doing everything you could possibly do to meet people and to grow sales. I spent about 70 hours a week in the business. I worked every single Saturday, worked from 7 to 7 Monday through Friday, and about 9 to 1 or 2 on Saturdays every single week for a year. And I got to tell you, that was a very frustrating year for me. It was one of my first years in sales, and I could not possibly work more time than I was doing. And the frustrating thing is that I wasn't getting a lot of results for it. You know, we had about, I don't know, 70, 80 salespeople in the company at that point. And I was one of the worst ones. I was one of the worst ones saw the leaderboard every day, every week, and I just couldn't understand how it was that the same people were always in the top 5, top 10. I just couldn't get it. I'm like, how do they do it? I'm working so dang hard and I'm not seeing success at the rate that I want, not even close. In fact, I was so upset about it. I mean, because I was dating my wife at the time and I couldn't afford to make commissions enough to buy her a ring. And I was really upset about that because I wanted to marry her. So I was at this point where I gave myself like a month. Like, if we can't figure this thing out in another month, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe I'm not good at sales. Maybe this thing isn't good for me. I don't know, but I can't keep doing the same thing. You can't either. You can't keep running into a brick wall. It ain't gonna move, guys. It's gonna still be there and it's gonna hurt. So we gotta figure something out here, right? And for me, and you might relate to this for you, if you're in this situation today, is we gotta work smarter, not harder. You can only work so hard every day. And I'll be the first one to admit, like, if I had 36 hours in a day and I had more energy, I would work the entire time because I hate to stop. Like, if I'm in a game and the fourth quarter whistle blows, I want to keep playing. But that's not how business works, right? Like, there's a time clock in the day, and when the day is done, it's done. When the week's done, it's done. When your month done is done. When your your sales cycle's got a time limit on it. There's time limits in the game of business, guys. And so I had to figure this thing out, right? And I started to really be honest, really, really honest with myself more than ever. And I thought about what it was that I was doing. And what was interesting is as I started to be more self-aware of my own efforts, it became apparent to me that I had a really crappy business strategy. I figured out that I was actually targeting 15 different industries at the same time. I was focusing on not leveraging the channels of outreach as well as I could have. I was going on meetings with people that weren't going to buy from me because I wanted to hit my numbers and keep my job. Does this sound familiar? I was not assertive or aggressive in my sales opportunities to drive the sale. I was very nice and was like taking our time with it. I was doing pretty much everything you could possibly do wrong to screw up your own sales process. I was doing that. I was the problem. I was the problem. You might be the problem for your own business right now. It's very common. So we're going to fix that today. Or at least we're going to talk about how to fix it today. Because what I did is I made some quick changes. One is I understood and learned where instead of targeting 15 industries, I figured out what were my best two. I didn't pick one. You don't have to pick one. You could, but I wanted to like pick two. So I picked my top two. I looked at where my best meeting opportunities were, and they fit those top two. I got rid of the rest. I stopped meeting people that I knew weren't going to buy from me, or that it was going to take way too dang long. I needed sales now or soon. So where is the best opportunity for you to get some low-hanging fruit, and also maybe some bigger guys, but you know that are going to take some while. You should do both, but you got to get some low-hanging fruit right now in your business, in your sales territory, whatever you're doing. So think about that. The next thing I was looking at was how was I actually conducting myself with my prospects and just even around the office with other people. How was I carrying myself? Was my energy good? Was I standing up straight? Did I feel confident or not confident? Was I excited or not excited? Was I energetic or down and not and moody and like, telling myself I can't do it? What was your energy like? And were you wasting too much time in things and tasks that you didn't need to be spending time in? And I was. And so I just cut it out, guys. I cut it out like cancer right away. And I just said, I'm just going to only spend time on stuff that I know is good, high valued activities. That's it. Only. I got fierce, really fierce with my time and my energy and the conversations and the people I was talking to. I didn't care if it was an internal teammate or a prospective client. I was not going to screw around anymore. I didn't have time to do that anymore. I needed to see some difference. So you cut it out and you get fierce with your time and you get smarter and better use of your time in your conversations and what activities you're doing. And I became more direct, more assertive. Good old Wisconsin Midwestern nice guy doesn't work in New Jersey and New York. You got to adjust your game a little bit. You got to get a little more assertive out here on the East Coast. Things move a little bit quicker here. So I got more direct with my prospects. And I got fact-finding faster with the 5 questions we talked about yesterday. If you missed that, hit me up on that. You're going to want to get that for your sales presentations. There's at least 5 questions you want to be using in your sales calls up front to make sure the call is really, really good. And you can qualify if they're a good prospect for you or not right away in the first 5 minutes so you can know where to spend your time. Take me up on that. I'll send it to you today. But all those changes, guys, made a huge, huge radical difference for me, and people around me could see it immediately. Like it was like a night and day, flip the switch kind of thing. It was like a different person. I became a different person. So if you're struggling right now in your business development and your sales and your marketing, and you want it to be better, I'm going to be the one to tell you today, guess what? You have a choice to become someone different right now, today, or if you want to start fresh tomorrow, great. Whatever you feel like doing, but you have to become a different person to make a difference in your life. The things that you were doing yesterday and the person you were yesterday isn't going to cut it for getting you to the next level to where you want to be. If you're happy with where you are, then this live is not going to help you today. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to change what you're doing and you want to see better results, then listen up, because I'm going to give you some good stuff today. And I hope this story resonates with you because it changed my life. Within 6 months of this, guys, I was number one in the company. Had the most new accounts, most sales, everything. People could not believe it. It blew their mind. It blew my mind. But I became someone different, and I never looked back. And I stayed that person, and I only went further with it from there. So, how does that play into today? I gave you some things to think about there, but I'm going to give you 4 to 5 things that you can look at right now in your business to help you decide and figure out how to accelerate and fast track your sales and your acquisition growth for revenue this month, every month, the next 90 days. This stuff works. So you might have heard some hints in the strategy that happened in that story, but here's where we're going to go with it. So if you are focusing on a lot of audiences right now, a lot of industries, and you might be telling yourself, well, that's because my solution can service anybody or can serve a lot of industries. It probably can. That's great. But it becomes increasingly more difficult to market to different industries with different personas, and stacking that kind of knowledge inside your brain and your team to go build marketing copy and marketing language and say you can do it all for them all. It's really hard to effectively market that way. And the reason why I can tell you that with 100% certainty is because in my story, we were in staffing. And so if I were to get business from a company, they would give me a requirement. They give me a job requirement, a position that we would have to then go fill with and find a person for. And what became quickly apparent to me was if you target 15 different industries and you even sell, you say you can fill 3 different types of positions to be on the low. There's more than that. Usually there's at least 5 to 10 positions or skill sets in any kind of business or company, at least. But even if it was 3, that means that there is now 45 different types of positions and skill sets that my team needed to be perfect at to do their jobs. And it was a huge aha for me to be like, oh my God, we're doing way too much. I'm making this way too hard on myself and my team to do well and to fulfill our business orders. It's way easier to service and deliver 3 things on your menu than 45 things on your menu, especially when you're newer and younger and you don't have it all figured out yet. So if you get where I'm going with this, simplify your audience. Pick 1 to 2 niches max, industries max right now. And in those industries, what are the buyers? Who are the buyers? If you're selling to a small business, it's probably the owner, right? If it's mid-market, so maybe we're talking now like 50 million to 200 million-ish, somewhere in there. Now you got a C-suite. You got probably CEO, COO, CFO, CTO, depending on whatever you sell. Maybe a VP, maybe. And then if you're going bigger than that, now you got a really complex enterprise sale. And you got to sell to directors and VPs. Those other ones using the service most likely the most. And then you got to get C-level approval, all that stuff. And so where are you selling? What size of company are you selling to? Low-hanging fruit, in most cases, would probably be easier if it's a smaller company. Why? Because there's less red tape. There's less process and budget approval and all these things that have to happen for you to get the sale. Smaller businesses move quicker, can make decisions faster. So maybe it makes sense to have a small to low mid-markets, focused business strategy, and maybe have a couple big ones that you're working on, but it may take you a while. That's okay. You should have a couple of those. Those are nice because when you get a whale, it's a whale. You get a lot of revenue from that. But that might take you months, and you can't afford to have that kind of cash flow imbalance in your business and in your commissions and your revenue, right? So we need a mix there, guys. But who are your buyers? Let's simplify who those people are, because what's going to happen then is if we have a focused audience, a focused niche, a focused buyer, now we have a really focused persona, and we can get even clearer or tighter on what are the situations in their business that keep happening that would necessitate your service. And if it's the same persona over and over and over again, then guess what? Our messaging becomes a lot easier to come up with, because we're having the same conversation with the same person, just a different company every day. And that's what we want to do. We want to have a unified, simplistic message, a marketing message on, hey, buyer, we know your business in and out because we only focus on your kind of business. That's all we do. And you want to know how I know? I'll tell you how I know. Here's like the 3 to 5 things I know that are happening most likely in your business right now, because I know your business in and out. We need to be that good with our market knowledge of our buyer so that they can feel and know that we know our shit. Because we talked about this last couple of days, right? If the buyer believes that you are the expert and you are the best, that you know their business better than anybody, guess what? You're probably going to get their business. So in order for us to help ourselves do that, we can simplify our strategy on who we're talking to, who we're selling to, marketing to. And guess what? Our message becomes easier to say. It's going to show that we're niche and nuanced for their type of business. And it's also going to start creating even a stronger competitive advantage for you against your competitors. Because in most cases, your competition is and was doing the same thing that you were just doing. They're doing too much with too much. They're all over the place. If we can show that we're nuanced and expert and niche on that kind of business, and we know that better than anybody you could possibly talk to out there, and we can show that and we can demonstrate that, like we talked about yesterday in the sales presentation, which you should get. If you weren't there, or if you didn't get the download, ping us. We have a framework for how to have the most effective sales presentation you could possibly have for your business. We have a framework for that. We'll send it to you. But that's it, guys. And that is then going to allow you to do a couple things. One is your offer. Your offer with that kind of focus should be very thorough but simple. Because you know what you're talking about more than anyone else, I would challenge you to raise your price immediately. Jack it up because you're the best and you're premium. You are the Mercedes, not the Toyota of what it is that you do. Raise your price. And throw it out there. Because as we talked about yesterday, people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. That has never changed. It's still true today. But they want to believe that you know your stuff, you're the best, and you have a pathway to getting them their outcome the most effective way possible. Best ROI, best use of time and energy, best use of their dollars to buy you. They want to invest with the right person, right company. So doing all this is going to help you make that happen, and they're going to see it. And because you are the best, you should be charging a good amount of money for that. Figure out what the market value is, average, see where your pricing is, get some data. You can Google a lot of this stuff on your services, and maybe bump it up a little bit and give it a shot. The worst thing you have to lose is the same place you are today. But I'm telling you, by being niche, and I'm going to give you stats to back up what I'm saying, so it's not just me saying this. But by being niche like this and focused, it's going to allow you to command the market you're focused on a lot more. You can be the authority in that marketplace. And I know a lot of this stuff is overused and people tell you that all the time, but no, this is the real way to do this. You can increase your prices because you're the best, and people should pay for the best, and they will. So check this out. Advantages of doing this: higher conversion rates. Niche businesses often experience higher conversion rates because their products or services are tailored to a specific audience's needs and preferences. According to HubSpot, niche websites have an average conversion of 5.5% versus a non-niche website is 3.7. Doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a significant difference. Better customer loyalty. SurveyMonkey found that 72% of consumers feel more loyal to brands that understand and share their values. That's what happens, guys, when we're aligned and niche and focused on an audience. They feel like we're them. That's what we want. Lower competition. Focus on a niche can lead to reduced competition. Data from Statista indicates that 44% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years, often due to intense competition. Niching down can provide a competitive advantage. Number 4, last one, higher profit margins. Serving a niche industry may allow you to charge premium prices, which I'm a big fan of. I've always believed in that, and it's worked. I've done it in numerous industries. It is true. I got one more story to share on that in a second. It's going to blow your mind. Report by McKinsey found that companies with niche products tend to have 10 to 15% higher profit margins than their broad market competitors. I can tell you that is 100% sure. I launched a go-to-market division for my corporate company that I work for, and I had to go from scratch into New York City. We did the exact strategy I just went through on this live, and we niched down. We built a target list of companies that fit that niche exactly. We ranked them for what we thought were the better opportunities. And we went in with strong, focused, specific messaging to these businesses saying, hey guys, we know your business better than anybody in our space, and we can prove it to you. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to give you an extra little thing here that's going to really take this home. And if you don't do this in your business today, this will dramatically help you with your social proof, your credibility, and just the overall believability that you are the best in your buyer's mind. But it's one thing for me to go say that to a company, right? But if I just tell them that we're the best and that's it, with nothing else behind that, they're like, okay, cool, you think you're the best, but so does everybody else. So how do you prove it? And there's a level of sophistication and maybe our knowledge in the conversation that can make us sound like we know what we're doing and we're better than anyone else. And we can demonstrate that we have expert knowledge that way, but that's not enough. That's going to help you in some really good conversations in your meetings. We talked about that yesterday, but there's more that we still need than this. And that is, we need to have an intentional strategy with this model where we're going to measure certain metrics that matter to your buyer with what it is that we do. And we're going to track that stuff. And then we're going to report on it. And then we're going to get a case study with it. And then we're going to show it to our target prospective clients. So what I mean by that, and I'm just going to give you a very clear example, is in the staffing space, there's hundreds of competitors in staffing. And that's the business that I was in before. What mattered to employers was use of energy and time on their own. Like, they got really tired of churning and burning people in and out that didn't work out for them. So they really wanted to find a partner that could have consistent, high quality talent come in their company and stay and do a good job and produce results. Like, that's all they want at the end of the day. So we started to think through, like, okay, well, how could we prove that we're better? How many people didn't turn over from us that turned over from the competition? What's our turnover rate? How fast could we fill positions versus our competitors, including the internal HR teams? We measured those things. We measured the days on average. We actually were 50% faster than anyone else. Once we discovered that, we started to think about what that meant in terms of dollars. Everything you guys do and measure should translate to dollars and ROI. You got to figure out how that works, but everything you do can translate into dollars and ROI. And those numbers talk. They talk really well to the CFO in those companies. They love that stuff. So we figured out how to translate turnover and faster time to fill, and number of people that stuck around that didn't get fired and got converted and stayed for a long time in those companies. All those things add up in dollars. We figured out the numbers. And then we went and got some clients and we did those things and proved that we did those numbers. And then we had a case study that was damn good. And you better believe that we used that case study with every freaking target company out there that was just like that company. And we said, hey, you over there, with your competitor, we just did this over there with them. Would that be awesome if you got that kind of similar outcome for you? And we knew they wanted that. And they said, hell yeah. So the point of that story is at the end of the day, we went into a $9 billion company and they told us, hey, we want to work with you, but here's our rates for you. This is what your competition's doing. So this is what it's going to be if you work with us. Now, I really wanted to work with this company. They were our number one target. But I knew our value and I knew we were better than anybody out there. I knew it. I knew it. It wasn't just a belief. I knew it for sure with our data and our stats and our performance. I knew it. So it takes some guts, but I basically said, nope, we're not going to work with you. Not at those rates. We are way better than that. And you're going to get the ROI from it. We were able to command 2.5 times the rate of every other competitor. 2.5 times. And they thanked us for it, which was even more hilarious because we demonstrated value in our sales presentations that we talked about yesterday. And they were blown away. So I tell you that, guys, because if you niche down, it works. You can command higher prices all the time, which is going to help your profit margins. It's going to help your cash flow. So niche down your audience, niche down your buyer, make your offer robust but simple, and raise that price. And don't even worry about if they're going to be afraid of that or not. That's not for you. Your job is to show how good you are. Your job is to show how your pathway and how to get them their outcome. And if you got it, 100% use some social proof and credibility. But if you start putting out marketing campaigns today to this simplified audience with your specific messaging, says this is what we do better than anybody, and here's how we can help you guys. And if you're experiencing any one of these types of situations, which we know you are, at least one of them probably, then we should talk. 1, 2, or 3. We should talk right away. We got a solution for you that I think you'd like to see, and it may not make sense, but let's take a call. And let's see if we can collaborate. Go for it. Go for it. Go reach out to all your targets with that audience and give them that message and that opportunity, and watch what happens. And you start to just cut out the cancer of all the time you waste everywhere else. Like, just cut it out, right? Get rid of it. Get rid of all the people that are spinning your wheels that you know are never going to work with you or buy from you, or it's going to take forever. We have got to focus on newer and better opportunities today. And we got to align that with what you're really, really good at, where you can kick some butt and take names and go add a lot of value to your clients because you're better than anyone else that can do it, and you know it. So that's the strategy, guys. That's the talk today. If you want any of the assets that I mentioned that can help you with this, message us. We'll send them to you. It's free. We're here to help. That's what we do on this show. But I hope that helps you guys. This strategy we've used over and over again. It has yet to fail. And we've seen a lot of success from it. So I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, ping me and message me. It's great seeing you guys today. And we'll be back tomorrow for one more episode of Ascend Live at 1 o'clock Eastern. Have a good one.